Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're back with one of those cases that just makes you want to leave. I'll just put that there. How female teacher 25 seduced a teenage boy by playing Call of Duty with him and bombarding him with thousands of texts as she's jailed to screams of "I love you." Supporters of a young female teacher who sexually abused a student have yelled "I love you, you'll be okay" as she was jailed for the serious abuse of trust. The 25-year-old returned before the County Court of Victoria on Tuesday after pleading guilty to grooming a child under 16 for sexual conduct, sexual penetration of a child, and possessing child abuse material. I want to briefly pause on how this whole fucking shit show even began. Supporters of a young female teacher who sexually abused a student have yelled "I love you, you'll be okay." Supporters? I don't even know where to begin with that one. Truly not. I mean, we've seen it plenty of times with women who are criminals generally. I've seen it a lot with women serial killers, which is a discussion we've had. We'll probably have multiple times again, unfortunately. But a child sexual predator. Supporters? I guarantee you, if you are a supporter and you're watching this, she is very much not going to be okay in jail. I don't know if they've told you, but they don't exactly have a fan club for people who abuse children. Truly not. In fact, I haven't been in jail myself, but I do hear they're one of the most hated groups, so she will not be okay in jail. The most okay she'll be is probably in solitary, and people lose their fucking minds in there. So the young woman appeared in court via video link wearing an oversized green prison jumper and large clear frame glasses. She was seen nervously squeezing a red stress ball as details of the abuse were read to the court. The court heard she was in her second year of teaching at a school in Melbourne Southeast in 2021 when she began telling the male student she wanted to become friends outside of school. Over a few months, they began exchanging messages on social media and playing video games like Call of Duty together before she told him she loved him in July that year. See, now, this is all jarring to me also because none of this is particularly covert. And what I mean by that is that a lot of the times the manipulation is clear to a lot of us adults, but isn't straight up "I love you, let's play Call of Duty together." The court heard she picked him up from his parents' house and drove to a nearby football oval where she told him she was willing to risk it if he was. "If we get caught, I'm going to jail, I'm going to lose my job," she said. The pair began a sexual relationship, exchanging thousands of messages and regularly meeting before her victim's parents discovered explicit text messages in November. In a victim impact statement provided to the court, they said her actions had tarnished their relationship with their son and left them second-guessing their parent ability. The offending had a devastating toll on the family and deprived their son of a normal childhood, they said. Sentencing the former teacher, Judge Trevor Raitt, found her conduct was motivated by sexual desire and had taken advantage of her trusted position at the school. "You were in a position of trust and you groomed the victim in order to engage in sexual conduct," he said. And I think here we come back to the same thing basically over and over and over again, which is the fact that aside from the obvious endless wrong that abuses, let alone child sexual abuses, it's so disgusting to me to see people who are supposed to be the protectors of children in a way, out of all the people that I would hope would be there to protect children, having teachers be the perpetrators is so alarming to me. I don't even have children and I'm on edge about it, so I can't even imagine, you know, like the trust that parents give their children's teachers to then have things like this happen. I'd go to prison. The court heard the young woman had since been diagnosed with a major depressive disorder, which a psychiatrist found may have impacted her decision-making ability. This is also the other thing. I completely understand diagnosing someone with whatever, but realistically, I just don't buy it the majority of the time in terms of I have a depressive disorder. Not everyone's disorders will come out in the same way, but there is something that frustrates me about using things, especially common things like depression and anxiety, to say this is part of why this happened. In my mind, there's a bigger problem at play. That being said, I'm not a psychiatrist. That's just my opinion from the outside. But I feel like sometimes they think they're really doing something by throwing out, "Oh yeah, major depressive disorder." And it's like, bitch, count how many people have that. A lot of us are not on the sex offender registry or in prison for doing that. So could it be a contributing force? Sure, but I really don't even know how much it helps to even put that out there, because it's like, okay, depression, now what do we do with that? I don't even know how much you can factor that in. You guys can let me know in the comments how much that should factor in your opinion, but as someone who experiences depression, it's really hard for me to have empathy there. The psychiatrist found her immaturity and lack of clarity around personal boundaries had left her viewing the victim as an equal, not considering the power imbalance. Well, isn't that convenient? Just look at that. She had written a letter to Judge Raitt saying she was deeply sorry for her conduct and the impact it had on her victim. She was jailed for 3 years and 9 months with a minimum non-parole period of 2 years. When released, the woman will have to comply with sex offender reporting obligations for life. 3 years and 9 months. I don't think my opinion on that one is in any way hidden. It's wild to me that people can go to prison and stay longer in prison for far less. A sexual crime, a crime of sexual abuse, costs less than a lot of other relatively minor crimes. You guys know I've said this multiple times before again, and now there are plenty of men who have gotten away with just a slap on the wrist. I'm always and forever, until we see a change, gonna believe that when it's a woman, that slap on the wrist is a lot lighter. Honestly, the reason why I bring up cases like this every so often is because I came across another case this morning on Twitter. I didn't talk about it yet because there was so little information that there would be basically a 30-second video of me being like, hey, this happened, but we know nothing. And the people in the comments on Twitter, I was ready to fight. I was ready to fight, truly. Thankfully, I decided not to. For, I don't want to say peace of mind because there's never peace up in there, but the absolute number of people, especially men, because here it was a female predator, so there were a lot of men in the comments saying they'd let her and that the kid should have been happy, and these old recycled arguments that are just so fucked up, and most of the time directed towards male victims, because we know how it goes with male victims. Taken less seriously, it's turned into basically a joke of you should have enjoyed it, which we're really not going to get started on that, or else I'm not going to shut up and I'm probably gonna become a lot meaner. It's insane to me how we're still having the same conversation. I just don't understand. As much as we have gender ideologies and how men and women are treated is different, and that's just a reality we face, I cannot believe that in light of sexual abuse things, and especially child sexual abuse things, we still have to have this old recycled conversation of, hey, guess what? Just because the person has a penis doesn't mean that they're engaging in any type of consent if they even can. Miss me with that. Truly, the absolute rage, because I feel like when there are male victims, if I were a male victim, I would feel a little bit worried about telling my male friends. Of course, you expect your friends to have the appropriate reaction, but it's like when you see comments like this online, I'm like, I wonder how many male victims see shit like this and don't feel like they can tell any of their friends, because their friends are gonna be like, oh, you should have enjoyed it, blah, blah. It's really, and it's sad because it sets us back, because it goes back to the stereotype of like, oh, men just want sex, they don't care about anything else, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, we don't want that stereotype to be alive and well, right? And here I'm saying sex loosely because, of course, it's rape if it's not consensual, which this wouldn't be consensual because minor. So you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know if you're as internally seething as I am. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.